Hello, team. Welcome back to the Mosaic podcast, the season of becoming the person you were meant to be. And this month, we are talking about the systems that change your life. We are talking about the weekly operating system for building a business and life, one intentional piece at a time. Okay, so we're into the third week of this month, the systems that change your life. The first episode, we talked about the hidden cost of every decision that we make. And episode number 2, I laid out a 12-step guide to having the best day you've ever had. Now, today, we're talking about planning ahead. Okay. Oh my gosh, I know. Planning. And if I haven't lost my listeners already, okay, I want you to really hang on because there is a big idea in this episode. And it's a little bit of, I hinted that in the last episode that talked about the 12 steps to the best day ever, right? And in one of the steps, I talked about having an intention for the day and having that, identifying the most important thing that you have to do, that plan, the most important task for your day and how important that was. This is a little bit, I'm going to take that thought from last week's episode and blow it up today and why that is so important. And no, we're not going to talk about to-do lists. Okay. We are going to talk about planning ahead and why that's an act of self-respect. So welcome back, because today's episode is one I really wanted to record for a long time because it really touches on something that I think a lot of us have gotten wrong about planning, to-do lists. We've been taught that planning is about like control. It is the responsible thing to do. Oh, like it shows, if you plan something, it means that you're organized or you're on top of things. Or that while all of that may be true, by the way, right? There is a deeper reason to plan that nobody talks enough about. Planning ahead is really an act of self-respect. I really want you to stay with me here because we need to unpack this so that you can become the best version of yourself. So when you plan ahead, you're really sending a message to yourself. You're saying that my future self matters. So stay with me here, right? The version of me who wakes up Thursday at 6 a.m. and has to record a podcast, for example, show up to a meeting or make dinner for family, that person deserves to walk into the day with clarity and in ease and no chaos or no scrambling around. Right? That's the message that you're sending to yourself. Because most of us treat our future selves as like they are strangers. Like we leave messes for them so that they can clean it up. Or we put off decisions we could make now, right? And then we avoid the hard preparation that would make everything smoother for our future self tomorrow. And then we wonder why we constantly feel behind. But here's the reframe. Planning is how you really take care of the person you are about to become. Isn't that how, it's related. We are talking about how to become the best version of yourself. And this is where it starts. It's how you see, how you say it, how you see the planning activity, you don't have to figure this out alone. I've got you. Okay, I've got you. So like, here's the thing. Personal story, right? As you know, I've gotten to a place where I batch a lot of the podcast episode of the Mosaic podcast. But there are times, and it happens, because when you are producing content, you can't always, and there were times that before I get to this batching of podcast episode for not a long time, I wouldn't say a long time, but there were weeks that I recorded episode by episode. Now, I do plan for my episodes when inspiration strikes, okay? That is important. Or whenever I have a pocket of time and I feel like, okay, this thought that I'm having deserves sharing and deserves to be part of the season that we are building, I create the content for it. And that's important too. But what that meant was also that I was constantly, if I am recording episodes, the content creation is a little bit different. But if I'm recording the episodes one at a time, it feels almost like I'm in a reactive mode and I have to push episode because I have to, right? I don't like being in that space. I don't like scrambling to outline something the night before or rushing a recording. That's not good. It's not feeling like I had breathing room. I need that. I need quality content. So I plan. I plan with intention. I plan when an idea, big idea happens to me, I plan the content, but I don't record it right away. I sit down, and if I have 4 episodes outlined, I record them back to back. And the difference that you're seeing in the season, right? And it's immediate, not just in the quality of my life, but also the quality of the content delivery itself. When I'm not rushing, I think more clearly. I am more present. You're getting the more of me. So planning ahead, it's not constraining me. It's actually liberating me. And you can think of this in every area of your life. Travel, finances, health routines. So the people who seem to live with the most ease aren't actually lucky. It's just not, it doesn't happen that way. They've just gotten ahead of the chaos, instead of chasing it, right? They started planning. So I want to tackle something, because I know some of you are thinking about this, right? Right. Whenever someone says, planning, that's the first thing people say. But Arzu, I don't like being too rigid with my life. I need flexibility in my life. I'm a spontaneous person. And I get you. I hear you. But I want you to understand, planning and flexibility are not opposites, actually. Planning creates the container, and flexibility lives inside that. When you have a plan, you know what you can move around. You know what is non-negotiable and what has room to breathe. Because, without a plan, everything feels urgent and nothing has like a home. With a plan, you can pivot intentionally because you know where you are pivoting from. You can make better decisions. Go back to the episode 1, right? It will help you with your decisions of what you're saying no to when you say yes to. So you can move your containers around intentionally. See, all of these things that we're talking about fits the pieces of your intentional mosaic. the most creative, free-spirited people I admire have some of the most intentional systems behind the scenes. The freedom these people project is possible because of the structure that they have built their systems around. Last week's episode, the 12 steps to having the best day ever, right, started with one simple practice. I talked about that, right? Trying to identify what is the most important container for the day ahead of you and planning for that from the night before. You can do this daily. If you can win that, if you can do this, you're going to have the most profound, compounding lives that you've ever imagined. Okay? You can also do this weekly, by the way. Right? I've seen people I've done that before too. Like Sunday evenings, Sundays seem to be like one of those days that people plan for their week and they can create like themes. And like spending 20 minutes Sunday afternoon, look at your week ahead and start thinking about the most important things that you want to have accomplished by the end of the week or by the end of the day tomorrow. Not 20 things, not 3 things, right? Not 2. If you're planning the next day, think of one thing that you want to accomplish. What is that most important thing? Now, if you're planning ahead for the week, maybe you can do, okay, what are the 3 most important things that I want to get done this coming week? You can do that. And then number 2, I want you to prepare in advance so you're not scrambling in the moment. So, say the most important thing that I need to do the next day that I decided is to record the systems that change your life, season of month of the season of becoming the best version of yourself, right? What are the things that I need to prepare for? Maybe it is the way that I prepare and show up on the mic, and that says something, right? So list the things that will make your life easier when the time comes. And then step number 3 is where. And step number 3 is where do I need to protect my time so that what matters most gets done and doesn't get crowded out. So that's the 3 steps. 1, you have to identify the most important thing. 2, you have to prepare for it, time block it, so that you don't scramble around in the moment, so it gets done. And then number 3, protect that time, like your life depends on it. Because that's like that, it does. That's it. All right? 3 questions, 3 important steps. It's not glamorous, but that is the difference between a week or a day that happens to you versus a week or a day that you actually live on purpose and become the best version of yourself. So here's the part, really. I want you to really, this is the big idea, this episode. And I want you to hear it. Every time you plan ahead, and it's not huge, right? Like we just outlined the 3 steps. And then if you plan ahead, do these 3 steps and you follow through, you know what happens? You are doing something much more powerful than just managing your schedule. You are becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. And that is huge because that's identity. You are someone who plans. Because you are becoming someone who shows up for themselves. You are someone who takes your own future seriously. I mean, gosh, that identity builds on itself. It is the foundation of every other piece of the of the mosaic that we're going to talk about. Because at the end of the day, our lives are built on the relationships that we have with ourselves. And planning is one of the most tangible ways to make that most important relationship, that one of trust. So you gotta follow through and have that identity shift. All right, team, I want you to ground yourself and then really hear every single word of the affirmations. You respect your future self enough to prepare for them today. You are someone who follows through on their own plans. The structure you build creates the freedom you crave. You don't leave your future to chance, you architect it with care. You trust yourself, you show up for yourself, you take your own life seriously. Every moment of preparation is an act of self-love for who you are becoming. All right, team, my friends, thank you for being here this week. Take one thing from today and put it in practice. I promise you, start small. Maybe a Sunday ritual, maybe a nightly ritual, a batching session, a 20-minute sit down with your week. It adds up faster than you think, okay? So today's conversation, if it moved you, please, continue the work that we are outlining here. Follow me, follow the courses, follow the affirmations, follow the subliminals, the audio experiences that we are designing here to help you become the person you are intentionally building, one mosaic piece at a time. I will see you next week.